Shane McCardle, you need to come forward, give your name and address. Sir, you have 45 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. I promise you I won't use all that time, although everybody knows I probably could. Thank you, members of the board, Madam President, Superintendent Chandler, and the audience for giving me this time. I only hope that I represent myself half as well as my students have today. My name is Shane McCardle, and I've been an English teacher for 2 years at Adams City High School. I applaud and respect your decision from a year ago not to merely rubber stamp the staffing decisions of the ACHS administration. It encouraged me to speak with you this year in regards to the administration's decision not to renew my contract. I would like to frame the next several minutes around the board's goals to recruit and maintain the best qualified and well-trained workforce, and to ensure that all students will be at or above grade level. Ultimately, if our students are to ever reach grade level in reading and writing, we had better begin by retaining the best qualified and well-trained staff. So, am I highly qualified and well-trained? I've been teaching for 10 years. I taught for 2 years at a school for students with severe emotional and behavioral disabilities. I taught for 2 years at a medium security correctional facility. I taught a year at a Boston public high school and was a teacher at Cambridge High School's prestigious summer school operated by Harvard University. Wanting to give my experience some more formal training, I earned my master's degree at Harvard University in curriculum and instruction with an emphasis on student achievement in urban education. I then moved to Colorado, where I spent 3 years teaching for the Cherry Creek School District, and this is now my second year at Adams City High School. From my unique teaching experiences to my formal training, it is clear that I fit the board's description of being best qualified and well-trained. I'm an asset to the school, to my colleagues, and most importantly, to my students. These next few minutes may be surprising for some people in the room and will likely make others uncomfortable, but too much is at stake to ignore this discussion. When Assistant Principal Cifuentes' evaluation...
Sir,
yes.
Could I ask that you not mention names?
Absolutely, I
Thank
apologize.
you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. When my assistant principal's evaluation of another teacher was openly called into question last year, it was not clear among the board and staff at the school whether something unethical or incompetent was ultimately the root cause. Here we are a year later, and in light of this year's TEL survey results, which I will occasionally cite, and the information I will present to you this evening, I believe, and the clear majority of your staff believes, that we have our answer. The climate and culture at ACHS is such that I encourage you to see the events of last year and this spring not as isolated moments or mistakes, but as part of a larger pattern involving an abuse of evaluative power by administrators who have consistently confused personal with professional matters. As a result, their decisions run contrary to the board's mission to retain the best qualified and well-trained workforce. You were praised by staff last year when you overturned all of the non-renewals at the high school. That essentially called into question the judgment of the evaluative team at the school, and their decision-making this year reveals that little has changed and more action is required. The administrative team at ACHS has failed its students. The choices you make as a result of this meeting will directly impact our current students at the high school and also the community members with elementary and middle school students who have placed their trust in your hands to provide them the education they deserve. Please allow me a few minutes to read an open letter to my principal. Dear Principal of Adams City High School, though I have been non-renewed as an English teacher and journalism advisor, I'm still a teacher to my students, and they desperately need someone to stand up and give them a voice. I've been warned by many colleagues that this public address might be akin to professional suicide, that it might impact the letter of recommendation you've agreed to write. But I want you to ask yourself this: why? Why would someone who has to look for another teaching job stand up and risk retaliation or blacklisting? Why would an untenured teacher risk asking the occasional question at a meeting or request data supporting a school-wide intervention, especially in such a climate and culture of fear, where job security seems to unfortunately trump student needs? I'm speaking tonight for the same reason I've asked questions in the past. My students need me to. I'm entrusted by the Colorado Department of Education to ask such questions. After all, in the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, a little integrity is better than any career. 2 years ago, you interviewed me. I told you up front that I like to promote professional dialogue. I also said that besides being an effective teacher, I'm a tireless advocate for my students because this is not and never will be just a job to me. You told me that a teacher would never get in trouble for advocating for students. You said that you would support any teacher who asked questions on behalf of their students. And because of your promise, my wife and I bought a house nearby because we are so much in love with this community and its children. I have been exactly as I have promised, but as a principal of ACHS, you have not. You let me down, and you let down all of our students by not supporting qualified teachers. You know that we are not here this evening because of my performance in the classroom. We have both been in education long enough to know that. I am an effective teacher, and I care about these kids. We're here tonight because I reflect on every single decision I make in the classroom, and I expect my administration to do the same. We are here tonight because the administration of ACHS would rather hire new teachers who are less likely to speak out or ask questions than retain the experienced teachers they currently have. We're here tonight because you had the opportunity to do the right thing for our students, and you chose not to. At staff meetings, you consistently make reference to student relationships as the essential component to teaching our student body. You encourage us to forge these relationships at every opportunity. To support this idea, the staff book club was given copies of Fires in the Bathroom to read and discuss so that we would be able to develop more meaningful student-teacher mentorships. You have stated time and again that I have some of the strongest student-teacher relationships in the school. In fact, in our meeting last week, you discussed how much students trust me and seek me out for advice. I care about every one of my students, and I understand the challenges they face every day. I am asked by counselors and deans to mediate disputes. I call home. I check attendance regularly for students I had last year. I grade and provide feedback to students I don't even have in class. The number of meaningful, positive mentoring interactions I have with students on a daily basis isn't even quantifiable. When students are emotional or stressed, or they have suffered some loss within their family, they often come to me. Counselors have even scheduled students into my class specifically because I provide a supportive environment and create strong mentoring relationships. I make such an impact in an area of teaching that you have identified as critical to our success here, and yet you still thought my non-renewal is in the best interest of your students?